Have you kids ever heard the tale of the Raven Witch? She waits until little boys and girls wander into the forest alone. And once their backs are turned, she gets them. Then she takes the children back to her cave and eats them up.
I'm never gonna go into the forest alone. Not ever.
Ha! I'm not afraid of no crazy lady in a cave.
Part 118. Oh, I just had the most enormous lunch. Hope you guys are all doing good. Air wants to meet us at her homestead. We're on to chapter 3 today, and that's going to be the chapter where we start learning about the orders. Now, of course, we had a bit of a chance already at Holbrook to speak to representatives of the orders, particularly the main two. We have the Vigil hanging out here and the Dermot Priory hanging out here. I think we spoke more to the Vigil than the Priory so far. But they're now going to speak to us at the Great Lodge itself, at our home. So I guess for now, we're going to leave Snowden Drifts, though we'll be back there very soon to see what they have to say. This is one of those moments in the story where I think it'd be really nice if there was a physical exit to Holbrook somewhere to the north, so we could quickly get back to, you know, the dilapidated Owl's Abattoir, you know, Lodge and some of these other places, but there's not. So if you were trying to play the game without using any waypoints, you'd have a hell of a walk at this point, because you can't really go south. That would take ages. I mean, you can go south. It would just take ages. Yeah, you've got to kind of go all the way up and around. And the next quest will actually take us there. But all right, so enough of that. Let's move on in and see. Oh, wait. First, we go to Air's homestead. Then later, I think we will be going to ours. All right, we'll go check her out. Today, we're going to be using a little bit more of our animal forms. In fact, I'd love to show you now the snow leopard. Actually, let's show off bear. Bear's kind of the big main one, so we should do it kind of first of all. So let's become the bear right here at the beginning. Now, not much to kill here with our swipes, our bear claws, our heavy swipes, our maul, where we slash repeatedly. We've got a roar for might, but the skill 5 may be useful to us. This is called charge. It's got a pretty long cooldown, so you can't use it much because you can't be a bear for that long. But if we charge, you'll notice we go absolutely sprinting at top speed in whatever direction we want. So in the game before mounts and things of that nature that have sped us up in the intervening years, bear form was actually a really good way of getting around and crossing large distances. It also constantly pulses damage as you move, which made it kind of nice in some dungeons for a while as well. You could like use it against an enemy against a wall and you know, hit him particularly hard. That there is the gate to Dredgehorn, and it was confusing the hell out of me for a second. But no, we're going to move on past and check out Air. There are a couple more places I still want to explore in Holbrook. I'll show you one once we've spoken to Air in a second, with someone who talks a lot about the dwarves. And funnily enough, that might be good timing, because the dwarves, before the end of this chapter, may have something to say about everything going on. Yeah, seriously, as little as we've seen them so far in the story, who knows what the Norn will get. They are in the mountains after all. So let's start off with Dredge Technology. Losing count of the number of times we've come here and hung out with Air now over the... How long do you guys think the adventure's been going on for Ulfric so far? A couple of months? Weeks?
Those Order representatives refuse to cooperate. Until someone takes charge, nothing will get done. It has to be someone they respect. Someone unaffiliated. Air, will you step forward?
I have rarely said no to you, Scarty, or your father, but this time I must.
You are the only one who can aid us. The Wolfborn can't appear to take a side.
No, it's time for a new legend to arise in Holbrook. The Slayer can take up this challenge.
Man, doesn't the word the Slayer feel kind of warm to us now? So it's Scarty, obviously one of the two sons of Newt, and he has news. As he walks out of the instance here, if we don't get this dialogue before he's gone, we can miss it completely. He says, I wish I could give you more information, but I must return to Holbrook. Speak with Air. She can tell you more about the orders. Well, she has much on her mind. I'll try and help her sort it out. So, yeah, Sky's going to wander off. Again, I love this sense. Every time you come to Homestead, it feels like such a busy place and a real living place, because the number of NPCs that come around keeps changing as the year goes by. You know, I've always felt that the best way to do open worlds that feel alive is this sort of format where you continuously return to a single place and it changes a lot. I'm a big fan of kind of the Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley style games. I think there's a middle ground between big, massive, open RPGs like this, or like the Elder Scrolls series and stuff, and what those smaller games do as they focus on more individual areas. But hey, so Aaron Garm, what orders? What are these?
What's going on? What was that all about?
Scardy, son of Newt Whitebear and head of the Wolfborn, brings word of trouble in Holbrook.
I don't understand. Did I hear you refuse to help?
My time as a hero has come and gone. You're the hero that Holbrook needs now. I will follow and advise you, of course, but this is your time and your challenge.
Come, Scardy's waiting in Holbrook and he needs help. He's meeting with some dignitaries who are very important, but hard to manage.
Once again, we get one of those moments through Air's dialogue where it seems that she considers herself not to be in Holbrook, and rather that she's far away, even though we kind of consider them to be so close. I'm glad to have you with me for this. Any questions before the meeting? All right, well, I'd like to know more about the orders. So we are going to have quite a lot of overlapping dialogue you guys will be very familiar with in this chapter, so I'll try not to labor the task too much, but nonetheless I want to be comprehensive. She says there are 3 in all: the Order of Whispers, the Demon Priory, and the Vigil. The Order of Whispers are a shadowy organization with a long history of secrets and intrigue. Their agents are everywhere, but they stay hidden, so we don't know much about them. There are the Demon Priory, an academy of scholars and explorers. They study past generations to defeat the dragons, ancient weapons, forgotten magic, secret histories, anything they can find. I mean, how cool is the Priory, honestly? And then lastly, the Vigil. The Vigil was born when Kralkatorrik awoke. Their founder personally survived an attack by Kralkatorrik that wiped out her comrades, so she organized a military force to defeat all the Elder Dragons. I like the perspective as a new player, but listening to this, you wouldn't quite realize we're talking about a Char right now. That's all I need to know. Thanks very much, Air. So let's go see what they're doing as they outreach to the Norn en masse. We're going to do that by going to the Great Lodge, which is where I thought we'd be straight away. I do want to start off, though, at Snow Leopard, because there's a cool NPC just outside. Now, I found this person while I was looking for ambient dialogue for you guys to listen to in the city on one of the recent episodes. So she just wanders around here, and she'll speak out loud every now and then, actually talking about the Massad. So I'm going to wait for her to say that, and then we'll actually press F and see what else she's got for us.
Like the old beings, like the Massad, manipulating from afar. They even make pawns of the Elder Dragons.
Okay, so who is it that makes pawns of the Elder Dragons and acts like the Massad, the sneakiest, most backstabby ancient race we know?
This is a bad time to be traveling.
Well, she says, have you heard? Dwarves are controlling the dragons. We're doomed. Dwarves? Aren't they all dead or gone? And how convenient, right? No one would suspect them. Out of sight, out of mind, except I'm onto them. Can you prove any of this, we say? She says, can you disapprove it? Of course you can't. They've hidden evidence of all their plans. They haven't maintained their iron grip on Tyria, but being careless, you know. So, yeah, we can say I'm leaving. Enjoy your fantasies. What I really adore about this is there is actually an NPC here in Holbrook that was added at the start of the game and speaks about something, some event, some prophecy that actually ends up coming true. So sometimes these random NPCs around the world do actually talk about things that will happen and may actually be hinting at real truths, right? The devs actually confirm or deny what they've been saying eventually. And that character, hey, who knows, maybe there'll be a big twist in the future where it's revealed that the dwarves who turned themselves to stone and went underground actually have been doing something major still, even to this day, and we've just been led to believe that they haven't. But yeah, I thought that was fantastic, and we never spoke to that character last time we were at the Snow Leopard Lodge, so I thought I would this time. There's not actually too much dialogue within the lodge for us to get at, though it's interesting enough if you guys are playing the game, just to go on a little tour and see. Alright, so let's go up to our homestead. A place, honestly, we've spent so little time at as we've been playing a Norn. Mostly we've been hanging out with Air, right? And then going off into distant, far-flung adventures. Well, let's come home now for once and see what's going on.
Dredge? Attacking soldiers on the road?
Those are the rumors, yes. Ah, here comes the Slayer.
Maybe now we'll get some results. Vigil doesn't stand by when it's attacked. We strike back.
At what? At the Priory, we collect information before we act. Otherwise, we're just flailing in shadows.
And while you two are flailing and collecting, the Order of Whispers will be solving the problem.
Alright, so it seems their problem is to do with the Dredge. Air will speak to us straight away.
You have my attention.
Or I guess she kind of will. Of all these people here, we've got Scholar Prot, we've got Crusader Thurkill, we've got Scar in there. Now, of these three, you might actually recognize a couple of these names. Particularly, I'm going to draw attention to Ifwin, who, if you choose the Order of Whispers, way later down the road after the attack on Claw Islands, when you see the Whispers' perspective of helping out Lion's Arch after the fall of Claw Islands, Ifwin is actually there in that instance. So we have seen her before, and I thought I'd mention where that very obscure place, for those of you with not as amazing memories as you probably are expected to have, might have forgotten about. Well, there you go. So anyway, Sky, how's it going, man? Dredge? I'm up for killing Dredge.
Welcome, Slayer. I'd like you to meet representatives from the Vigil, the Derman Priory, and the Order of Whispers. They need your help.
I'm honored. I'll do what I can, but first I need to know more. What's the situation?
Dredge activity is rising sharply up north. We've been finding dead bodies with horrific and inexplicable wounds. All three orders have an interest, so we need to combine our efforts. But we can't agree on a course of action. I'll let them elaborate.
Welcome, Slayer. I'm Ifwin from the Order of Whispers. We specialize in covert activity, information, infiltration, and assassination. We found the bodies, we reported the strange wounds, and we heard rumors of a dredge attack on Scholar's Cleft, a priory facility in that region.
That complex is not well defended. Allow me to introduce myself. Scholar Prot of the Derman Priory. Scholar's Cleft is a place of learning. We're studying the Elder Dragons there, and that research is too important to fall into Dredge hands.
The Vigil has other priorities. I'm Crusader Thurkill. Marauding Dredge are the problem? I say, no Dredge, no problem. Those tunneling devils cost me a squad. I'll punish them for that, so they can't do more harm. Ever.
So we have two objectives, two plans, but only one Slayer. That leaves the question, who gets your help? The Dredge threat needs to be identified and contained. How will you begin? By protecting Scholar's Cleft, or avenging the fallen Vigil squad?
Right. So, we do get a lot of extra dialogue here now. He says, let me thank you on behalf of Newt. Yeah, it's interesting to me that Newt hasn't really seen or interacted with us at all since the Great Hunt way back when. Let me thank you on behalf of Newt, the Wolfborn, and Holbrack. If you hadn't stepped in, I swear they were about to start brawling. On none of the other races do you get that sense that they're just going to straight up fight one another. How disorderly of the Norn. Can you tell me about Thurko and the Vigil? Well, Thurko is a brash, bull-headed, blunt, but devoted to his order. He's the perfect Vigil soldier. He's strong, brave, and dedicated. And Prot and the Derman Priory? The Priory may seem like sheltered academics, but they get most of their knowledge by adventuring out in the field. Prot's a good example. He combines vast knowledge with effective action. So yeah, the least idealized of the three orders in terms of suited to the Norn, I think, would be the Derman Priory. But we've of course seen like people like Explorer Hector and so on. A lot of high people in the Priory are Norn. And they are mountain-based, at least, so we're acclimatized for them. Alright, thanks. Air, what do you think? She says, this is an important decision, Slayer. Each of the orders is dedicated to stopping the Elder Dragons, but their methods couldn't be more distinct. It's interesting as well on this race. A lot of the other ones, you kind of get that sense of the dragon conflict at the heart of the orders very quickly. Like with the humans, you're immediately fighting Risen, and the Risen's the problem. Here we're dealing with Dredge, which really doesn't have anything to do with the Elder Dragons. I have questions about the orders. If it will help you make up your mind, I'll tell you what you want to know. What do you want to hear? Well, okay, tell me again about the Priory. They say knowledge is power. They're bold explorers who retrieve powerful antiquities from dangerous locations and gifted scholars to apply such finds to their cause. Okay. Tell me about the Order of Whispers. For the Order of Whispers, the ends justify the means. They don't want to draw undue attention, so they work behind the scenes. Direct confrontation is the last resort. And the Vigil relies on martial power. Their mission is to protect the innocent, and that means building unstoppable army to crush the dragons. I like the idea of an unstoppable army. Well, I'm ready to decide. She says, very well. Speak to the representative of the order you've chosen. Good luck, Slayer. No matter which order you join, I know you'll make a difference. Now, all of Air's dialogue there is written as though we're about to make the decision to join an order. I mean, literally, right? But that's obviously not what's actually happening. These instances, because there's such a crazy matrix of different possibilities you pick, tend to bug in a weird way, and I think Air's dialogue is doing something similar to what we saw with the Char dialogue. A bit frustrating. Actually, I think when we saw the Char bugs, I cut them out, and I was as kind to the game as possible, hiding a lot of its flaws. But, yeah, she's clearly talking about joining Order, which isn't happening yet. We've just got a different decision. Whose plan do we want to go with for now? The Order of Whispers are abstaining. She says, so Slayer, how goes the Dredge operation? Is a success on the horizon? And we say, no offense, but in this case, I'd rather achieve success before I talk about it. So, who do we want to go for? Prot! Scholar Cleft houses rare books and old tomes, but there's nothing specifically Dredge related there. Will you come with me to make sure it's safe?
Everyone fights for something.
Do we want vengeance? I don't like to admit it, but we've had trouble containing the Dredge. I have a unit standing by, but we could use your help. Now, I think most Norm would end up going Vigil. This instance actually has a lot more dialogue and is really funny too, so I want to go for this. Yeah, let's find out why the Dredge were headed there. Splendid. The desire to learn is key to wisdom. You'll be a huge asset on this mission. I hope so.
Slayer, you are. Who chooses sentry duty over taking the fight to the enemy?
Someone thinking about the future. Your comrades are gone, but Scholar's Cleft can still be saved. I approve of the Slayer's approach. This is bigger than frisky Dredge and lost patrols.
Maybe. But we have to start somewhere, and the Dredge started this when they attacked the Vigil.
Wow, he really does not like us. This is what I mean when I say the Norm can be very short with one another. You should have stuck with me. I hope these bookworms are worth it, he says. He's almost like an antagonist. We have a much better chance with you to assist us, this guy says, and Ifwin's not even responding anymore. Okay, so that seems pretty good. Safe journey, Slayer of Isormir. The Dredge threat is troubling, but I trust you'll get to the bottom of it. So we're going to head out to Scholar's Cleft, see what we find. That's going to be back in Snowdon, so let's say goodbye to Holbrecht once again for a short while. Now, it's way off in the corner of Snowdon as well, and what I'm actually going to do is just run us all the way along the road. You've already seen this journey and this road, and despite the fact that we are doing this on Ulfric rather than, say, on a Char, the actual content itself isn't any different. So, we've already seen my favorite highlighted places of this map. Maybe we could start here at the Exile Waypoint and get a different view. But yeah, we're going to just go on an adventure through the map. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you over in the other corner. Let's do it. Oh, of course, we do, while underwater, have our spear. And there are underwater pets we can tame too. In fact, here's an ice drake near us that we could tame. Now, an ice drake is an amphibious pet, meaning it will come with us above and below ground. Actually, I'll leave him. I don't want to tame too many pets right now. But, yeah, we could grab him and have him to fight with us. You got all these skills underwater. Surging Maw, Counter Strike, Mana War. This one's to do with jellyfish. Swirling Strike. Very fun. And, in fact, another weapon set here, too. Feeding Frenzy to do with piranhas on the spear gun. Ink Blast with, like, squid ink. It's all kind of themed around using animals to support our abilities. Pretty fun. Anyway, there's not much swimming on this map, but that's a bit of it. So, here we are. Now, you'll notice in this area of the Shiver Peaks, there are Modernir here. Actual centaurs around. So, not just Dredge, but some of the other lesser races to deal with here, too. Pretty fun skill challenge as well on this. This is Razor Wing's Nest. We can move over to the materials. And it says, a note in the nest reads, beware, the residents of this nest are vicious and eager to fight. Approach only if you intend to accept the challenge. And we say, sounds fun, a very naughty thing to do. And Razorwing will come down, an owl griffin boss for us, with his brood around as well, you'll see here. Can actually be a bit of a challenge to take out. Here, let's try something. We're going to summon our spirits, then go bear form. Give everything might. I guess giving spirits might isn't too good. But let's use the 5. And yeah, okay, so this has got a launch as well when you hit someone. Really nice. And cool. There you go. Moving up here, this cool staircase, you'll actually find this is the place we're trying to get to. Let's move into the story, Underground Scholar. Hey, Prop. Safe travels, I assume?
Glad to have you with us, Slayer. Scholar's Cleft is abuzz with rumors of an impending Dredge attack. When I left, some of the faculty were convinced the attack was imminent. Studying dragons for so long makes one eager to confront a more manageable foe. If you don't mind, let's hurry before full-on panic sets in.
I don't mind at all. If trouble's coming to Scholar's Cleft, I want to be there to meet it.
Once again, this is, funnily enough, actually, a mission I remember being kind of difficult. Speaking of trouble, it's the Dredge. From Underground, in their tanks. I actually love the sound effect here. And as we move up, you can see some people appearing subjugated by the Dredge. They're bowing down on their knees. So we've got the Dredge to deal with. Let's swap our elite again. So we've seen Wolf, we've seen Bear. Let's move on now to Raven. Raven has the most exotic and interesting design, in my opinion. So yeah, it's our job to get up there. You'll see on the top right, our objective is actually to defeat 8 of their vehicles and mortars, basically all of their engines of siege and whatnot. Now, I think this might be one of those rare situations where if you don't defeat the right thing, stuff just keeps spawning. Particularly because there are some Dredge mining suits coming up, and if you remember, the mining suits are mobs that just keep spawning more and more and more mobs of particular regard in the dungeon Sorrow's Embrace. So, yeah, we need a certain amount of damage to be able to get through this comfortably and quickly. Let's bring our spirits forward, shall we, so that everyone continues to get buffed. The other thing is, if you're not quick enough, a lot of your allies here, these Priory Scholars that are actually fighting, these guys will start dying and won't be able to help you as more stuff comes out of these APCs and so on. So, yeah, let's just keep moving up the roads. I think there are supposed to be mortars, like, out on the sides. Maybe I'm not seeing that right.
Please, help us. Our leader is in danger.
Okay, sure, don't worry. I'll help you as best I can. Yeah, I swear. Here we go. Yeah, look, so there's some mortars. You want to get up and deal with these. These actually kind of hurt. So, I'm coming up, breaking these. Let's drop a bonfire. We can equip our Dagger offhand as well. The last of the weapon skills to show to you guys. You know what would have been kind of nice here as well? Axe offhand. I showed you the animations, but we didn't really use it in any fights, did we? So, hey, if I can break combat now, trying to take out this Ratnik. Yeah, let's see. Did we break combat once this bleed goes away? Let's equip. Oh, I don't think we will. And the reason we won't, I think, is because our pet is probably fighting stuff right now. So never mind. We'll just keep trying to keep the pressure up and do as much damage as possible here. Let's cast our spirits and bring them closer. Oh, before we take too much damage. Yeah, you'll see how low we're getting. Hang in there, old frick. He's genuinely had some the more challenging missions than most, I think, of our characters as we've been going through the game. Once again, because I'm on short bow here, I need to remember to stay behind the people I'm fighting. We get extra damage, we get to stun instead of daze. Get the spirits close again. Take these guys. We kind of came from behind a little bit here, a bit strange. Didn't really mean to skip all the way up the road. Take these out. A couple of disaggregators. Super annoying with their abilities. Look at all the boons that they give themselves, make them extra tanky. So with this one broken, we'll be at 7 of 8. So where is the 8 of 8, I wonder? I don't know. This one seems really tanky. Look at this. Oh no, and our bird's getting low. So if our bird dies, I'll show you this mechanic, okay? Alson just got defeated. So now when I pet swap and go to my other pet, which, you know, can continue fighting, we're back to Beartooth. The cooldown for swapping pets is really long, though. Okay, so that's kind of the balance there. If you let your pet die before swapping it, it's going to be really punishing for the cooldown. So what you want to do is try and swap pet before they die, and then that will keep you nice and safe. So there we go. This is the last APC here. Let's show off what it looks like to be the Raven in this last fight. Really beautiful. Look at this. I love the look of being the Raven. So we get Swipe, Lash Out with Raven Wings, damaging. We get a Wind Blast. Really nice skill there. We get a Swoop, which moves us. We get a Shriek.
I have the information you need. Get out of here before the reinforcements show up.
Okay, so this guy, Vyacheslav, has just bailed. He says he got the information he was looking for. And then lastly, we get Rending Talons, where we just slash and slash and slash, giving bleed in front of us. It's a pretty nice set, but doesn't have any really potent utility that the others have. You know, like Bear can move you really fast, and Snow Leopard, we'll see later, has a very specific utility. Raven just kind of does stuff that you'd probably get elsewhere on Ranger anyway, or whatever class you happen to be playing. But yeah, okay, so we never managed to take out the last one. The boss escapes. Well, the only question remaining is what were they killing all these scholars for? What information is the Dredge looking for here in the Shiver Peak Mountains? Seems there's really a lot of bodies. Pretty sad. We've gone through some grim stuff here, and none of the NPCs have even talked about it. It's like, you know, we wandered over to this Coden village and ruined some of their population and just sort of casually swagger off.
I won't allow harm to come to little Meowmers.
So, what is this? Meowmers. Little Meowmers. Hello, Fiona. I'm not going to hurt Meowmers. My cat! My poor Mrs. Meowmers! Please keep her safe. She's all the family I have left. Don't worry, I'll protect you both if you say. So, there is an enormous cat here. Now, look, we can appreciate this cat is big and we're a Norn. Look, this is a wolf, guys. Wolves are big-ass dogs, right? And this cat is, like, pretty goddamn big. You saw it moving around a second ago. Very porky cat. And this Sylvari has a little cat as his companion. You'll notice that she's actually invulnerable. I think the reason she's invulnerable is because if you're really slow as a player, you don't want the Dredge that were fighting in this courtyard coming in, killing them and stuff, I guess. But yeah, so Meowmers, don't worry. Who else we got? Well, we got Scholar Havris. No time for chat. Dredge skulls need cracking. Okay, well, I kind of dealt with a lot of them. Can't you hear the peaceful, calm music in the background now? Look, the day has been saved. A very low beam here. Just Norn things to have to struggle with. And here we got a Scholar Emberlight.
Defeats darkness.
I know a Dredge attack when I hear one. You take care of the mole people, I'll protect Mr. Cluckers. Have you met him? He's our unofficial mascot, an official test chicken. I'll catch up with him later. So these guys have got these cool weird pets, right? It's a funny instance. It's weird as well because it feels like it's written that we were supposed to come here and then the Dredge attack would be after. It'd be like a defense thing. But instead, it later got rewritten into you fight your way into the place instead of defending it. And the dialogue would never really changed. Is that just me reading that wrong? But that's how it feels, right? Here we got just a generic Priory Scholar who will speak to us in the cutscene.
Thank the 6 gods. You arrived just in time. The Dredge have gone crazy.
We're here to help. Do you have any idea what those brutes wanted?
They were after a very specific book on ancient architecture. Their leader, Vyacheslav, fled with it just a moment ago.
A book on architecture? Can Dredge even read?
I don't know. I told them where it was, and they left me alive. My poor colleagues.
If the Dredge got what they wanted, I doubt they'll be back. Tend to the wounded, Scholar. The Slayer and I will deal with the Dredge. I need to report this to my superiors at the Priory, Slayer. I'll meet you back in Holbreck when I'm finished, and then we'll speak to the others.
You know, I'm kind of regretting not going with the Vigil this time then. I mean, it was good that we came here because we managed to save them from even further death because of a Dredge attack we didn't anticipate. But I want vengeance, damn it. And that's an amazing line. Can Dredge read? They're like blind mole people. What need have they got for books? So many dead, and over a book we'd have shared if they'd asked. Thank you for your help. You saved our lives. The dead will be avenged, Scholar. I'll see to that. Yeah, and that's just the real crime, right? The Dredge are so xenophobic, unwilling to cooperate, that they don't even realize that life could be a lot easier if they just allowed it to be, right? If they just communicated with these races, did things on more reasonable terms. Prot was just speaking to me and then despawned. What? I don't know what he was saying. Maybe we can pause the video and see. Okay, Prot, sorry. See you later. Bye. Here we go. Is it over? I hate avoiding the fight, but I was ordered to keep Mr. Clucker safe. See, I'd say you did your duty, Scholar. Now everyone's updated as though they did a battle, right? Like, it's just kind of strange the way that this one's written. Coming down as well. This is now, of course, all bonus dialogue. We could be back at Holbrook already. This guy says, thanks for the help. We had wind of a Dredge attack. Wing, guys, yeah, because become the Raven. But didn't believe it. That rumor pops up so often, we've learned to ignore it. Well, you never know with things beneath you. And horrible Dredge, so much bloodshed. Thank you for your help. At least this little one made it through the fighting. You are both very fortunate. Be well to the both of you. So yeah, that's Mr. Meowmers there. Let's drop out. I kind of want to explore this place in the open world and see if there's anything interesting to see here too. Let's move over. So Scholar's Cleft Waypoint. It looks like there is a dynamic event starting here if I choose it to. Maybe I can spare a moment. So Fiona here says this lay energy. So Fiona here, I'm not actually going to read this dialogue or do this. This is an event to do with something much later in the game. You'll see she's talking about something here called lay energy. She says we must collect it and hold it for the people of Tyria. Well, we'll get to that a little bit later, I guess. But moving deeper in, I wonder if anyone has anything cool to say. Do we get to see Mr. Meowmers? Mr. Meowmers is here! Welcome to Scholar's Cleft, haven to those who seek knowledge and home to the Dermot Priory. The Priory? We study the past and record its events to preserve what has already been. Through our labor, we hope to unlock the secrets to enhance the future. Some of us seek history, while others study it. Why are you here in Snowdon? Well, the key to searching for knowledge is to go wherever knowledge is. We serve as a rest point for members between their travels. We study the lore of the shivings. It's interesting because this is almost like a haven for the Lion Guard, but it's priory established. While the modernist centaurs to the east raid us for supplies, that oaf upstairs spends more time sleeping than patrolling. The frequent sound of beating hooves is quite irritating. Who are you? Why, I'm Uro the Great of the Dermot Priory. No, I'm surprised you haven't heard of me. I'm the greatest historian in the world today, or yesterday. Or what do you do for the Priory? I must say, I'm still nonplussed by your ignorance of my work. Everyone knows that I, Uro the Great, take the works of our scribe, Scylla, and preserve them for all eternity. For all eternity, really? Yes, of course, for all eternity. What good is preserving something for less than eternity? If something could be lost to wear or decomposition, then it may as well be destroyed today. An interesting philosophy. Thanks for your time. Interesting, because you go down that rabbit hole of, like, the information you're trying to preserve will eventually be destroyed. It'll be quite depressing. Like, take this YouTube video, this series, right? Like, I care a lot about this series. I'm really happy to deliver everything and hopefully teach people a ton about this game and all the depth that it's got. But one day, what, YouTube will go down? And the hard drives I have holding the backups to this will go down, and the special Patreon drive people have access to, hosted by Google, may go down, and eventually I won't care about the series anymore, or I'll die and no longer be around to, you know, host it somewhere, and none of my community will care about the series anymore, and it will be gone. Not for eternity. How depressing is that? Snoring. Unhand my axe. I won't ask you again. Unhand my... Shouldn't you be out patrolling? Harpies, she-beasts. Maybe your friends would feel safer with you awake for guard duty. Snore. Minotaurs everywhere. Damn it, I just read snore out the cue as though it was dialogue. Disappointed! Sounds like you've already got your hands full. Sure you do. So yeah, that's the sleeping guy. And I love how much flavor and just character they add to just a little random place like this, Scholar's Cleft. I do want to show one other thing as well. Something, if we've got time for, I'd love to do for you all. Right near Scholar's Cleft, after the game came out, the devs did add a mini dungeon only here for guilds. So check it out. Just here, there's Angvar's Trove. Now this locked door, you can only get behind but if you are with a guild and doing a specific mission when it rotates through, then you get special guild rewards with special loot you can't get anywhere else in the game. There's like guild armor and stuff you get for commendations doing guild stuff. And the puzzles are really fun. There's a couple of them around Tyria. I've not shown you any, and it might be nice as sort of a part of an end game demonstration to show you eventually. But in the event we don't get around to doing that, I did at least want to show you the door. And yeah, this little guild symbol here saying the guild puzzle. A guild officer needs to activate the mission before you can take part, but it's a big adventure meant for lots of players, and that takes place right here in Snowdon. This is actually one of the only reasons, in terms of end game repeatable content, people ever come to Snowdon. It's that empty of a map because there's no big metas and stuff like that, unless, you know, the daily takes you to the King Jarlath's Refuge jumping puzzle and other minor things. Okay, cool. So let's go back to Holbrack, and yeah, maybe we should listen to the Vigil this time. We'll see what they say.
I tell you, the Dredge are testing this new weapon on Vigil soldiers. It has to be destroyed now.
It might be better to steal the weapon, learn its secrets, develop a defense. If it's especially lethal, we might even want to turn it against the dragons themselves.
An intriguing notion, Agent. But I agree. The weapon deserves a closer look.
All right, I'm sure. Does Air's dialogue change?
May the spirits of the wild.
She says, how are things shaping up? Do you have a feel for the orders and how they operate? Not yet, but the Dredge problem will give me plenty of opportunity, we say. Looks like Scarty's buggered off as well. We don't have Newt here or either of the sons anymore. Fine. What a lackey I feel.
The rumors were true. Dredge did attack Scholar's Cleft. They killed a lot of people and stole an ancient tome.
They were led by a dredge named Vyacheslav. On his orders, they murdered my colleagues for a book about architecture.
Why? What was in the book that would be worth killing and dying for?
Does it matter? I'm here to report that the Vigil just lost another squad to this mystery weapon. The Dredge and their new toy must be stopped.
I think we all agree on that. But the Priory isn't going to charge in without more information.
Then stand aside. We know they're keeping the weapon somewhere near Mullenhide. We'll fight our way in and destroy it.
Or we could sneak in and steal it. By the time the Dredge build another one, we'll have a response prepared.
As long as we do something now to prevent more loss of life. What say you, Slayer? Steal the weapon or destroy it?
Alright, so pretty simple decision here.
Knowledge is power.
Prot is going to step away. He says we have much better chance with you to assist us. We can either go with the stealthy option. The Vigil would throw bodies at this problem and waste lives. With the subterfuge I have planned, what we need falls into our hands. So this is a nice choice, definitely. And the instance is reasonably cool. But I like the idea of actually killing some Dredge. I feel like Ulfric would definitely want to go with this one this time. Ifwin's smart and her intentions are good, but she underestimates our strength. If you stand with the Vigil, we'll overwhelm the Dredge before they can fight back. Also, I really do think the story's kind of weak here in how little it properly connects everything we're doing to the dragons. And this instance is really cool because the Vigil show how much they care about the dragons and some of the dialogue upcoming. Direct and to the point. I like it. Let's go. So, we're going to be on to the next one now with Underground Scholar complete. Okay, so look, check it out. We got... Oh, I haven't shown you sword main hand either, have I? Okay, hold on. So, let's pick up this sword and let's do a new weapon set, okay? We're going to go sword main hand, axe offhand, because though we saw the animations, we never used them much, right? So, sword is a really flighty, cool weapon when it comes to Ranger, and I can't wait to show you all. You've made a wise choice when it comes to Dredge. The Vigil way is the only way. Did we already read that? Okay, so let's move on. And now we're on Dredge Assaults, which once again should take place in Snowdon, if I remember rightly. But instead of the top left corner, we're in the bottom left corner now. So here we go. Oh, man, I really do not feel good after that lunch. Jesus Christ. It feels so bloated. All right, so let's talk about sword. First of all, you got the auto attack chain. It goes slash, crippling thrust, and precision swipe. And you'll notice there's quite a variety of effects on there. It's damage, and then it's damage and cripple, and then it's damage and might, each time on 3 targets. So I'll show you how the auto attack chain works on this Raptor. This is not too interesting, though, obviously. Back when the game first came out, wasn't there evades on this, and it was really weird? Well, now, this is how it looks. So we cripple, we give ourselves might, and we just kind of keep swinging away. The animation looks really weird with the way that our hand moves, but I think it's because of how they changed it over the years. Next, though, is Hornets Sting. Now, this one's really cool. First of all, stab your foe, then evade backwards. So if I run over to this sheep and I use Hornets Sting, watch what happens. I'm going to take my hand off of WAS and D, and I'm going to make sure Beartolf doesn't attack here. I'm just going to use the 2. My character stabs and rolls really far away. Now if I, and now you'll notice that it flips over to a new ability. I'll show you that again. So I'm going to roll away. It becomes now Monarch's Leap. And what Monarch's Leap should do, it bugged out really weirdly there, is leap us back in to where we just fought. So here, I'll do it, roll up the hill, and then jump back towards the guy, like so. And by doing this, we can kind of really annoy enemies because they can't hit us so easily. But this has a cool consequence, right? The reason I'm showing you this outside of combat right now, outside of the story instance, is while we're running around, you can do that thing I showed off with the short bow before, where we quickly turn around, use the 2, then we run forward and use the 2 again, and I'll look at that. On a sword, you can actually move really fast. It's almost like we've got that Great Sword 3, but we, slightly clunkier animation, but this is faster than walking, and because it's on a very quick cooldown, you can kind of do this a lot. And so when you watch me playing Ranger on various other videos, that's what I'm doing here. I'm utilizing the 2 like that. Finally, there's the skill 3, and once again, it's an evadey thing. This one's an actual dodge roll. It's an evade frame for us. And what it does is it's called Serpent Strike, and it moves us behind them while poisoning. So watch. We go behind. And going behind is nice for traits and things that proc while we're attacking behind. We could use the Serpent Strike, then quickly swap to short bow, and start shooting them with a short bow, and you get all of the short bow benefits. I can actually show you how that looks here. We'll come up to this Dredge, we'll use the 3, go behind him, and then swap to short bow and, go with the 2 or the whatever. Obviously, he turned around in the middle of the animation there, so it was a bit clunky. But in PvP formats and stuff, that's maybe a little bit more of a thing that you can do. Not that these days people run short bow much in PvP, but hey. Who knows where the balance will have taken the game by the time everyone's watching this video. So there you go. Let's move on in with Dredge Assault. And you will have noticed, hopefully, that the mountain we're next to here is actually overhanging a very unnatural formation. These are dredge mines. And we've got a lot of forces here. Hello, Vigil.
Good hunting. Good to have you with us, Slayer. You know what that dredge weapon did to my comrades. You're welcome to help me avenge them. You'll make an excellent Vigil recruit. When you're ready to commit to fighting the dragons full-time, let me know.
I will. But first, I want to break Vyacheslav's latest prototype and punish the dredge who tested it on people.
Agreed. And that confirms that you were made for the Vigil. We don't talk, we act. When we're attacked, we answer. The dredge are behind that door. Let's smash it down and show them Vigil justice.
So, funnily enough, this is actually an instance where if we picked Whispers, we'd be here too. It's just the technique would be totally different we're undergoing. Beautiful day for mortar shelling. First fire the cannon, then kick in the door. Simple. We don't actually do this bit of kicking, I don't think. So we're going to come over to this cannon.
Blast the door on the left.
And learn a little bit about how this works. The funny thing is, in the updates over the years, this cannon is now a bit weird, right? What the game wants us to do is simply use the skill 1 fire. But we also have here Grape Shot, which bleeds, and Ice Shot, which freezes the ground and applies chill in the air. These are cool and fun skills, don't get me wrong. But the game's a little bit confusing in that if you fire these massive cannonballs associated with these skills at the door, it doesn't work. You can only use the skill 1. So just bear that in mind.
Good job. Door's starting to come apart. Another shot.
I think that's mostly because when the game first came out, these other skills weren't on here due to World vs. World changes. I think it's actually changes. Right, we need to shoot the left door anyway, so I thought I was aiming at that one for a second.
One more shot.
All right, and a third shot. It is pretty low health bar.
Ambush from beneath us. To arms.
Oh my god, the frickin' screen shake. Out they come. We get 3 dredge transports, and in come the Vigil. Now our spirits should be really high value here for this fight. And let's see how we do with our axe offhand. Ready? We can pull everyone in and use the skill 5. Look at that, beautiful. So much cleave across such a wide area. We can also like stack might with the auto attack and then use the 5 later and it'll do even more damage. And so our job right now is to destroy the transports. They will keep spamming out mobs, so you really want to focus on hitting these and just try and accidentally hit the other targets, if you will. But with everyone empowered so much by spirits, I think we should be fine.
Watch out! These are big ones.
Okay, so now you'll notice that that other door just opened with the gears sliding across. Kind of cool how there's two totally separate different animations for getting out of those doors. You know, depending on if you blow it up or not. So, yeah, these are mining suits. These are the things that constantly spawn more targets. I guess we didn't see any in that previous instance, eh? If you're quick enough and you blow up these mining suits, like with really OP level 80 characters that are waiting at the doors, you can probably skip most of this entire fight here.
Let's find it and destroy it.
Just because no ads will spawn whatsoever if you were to do that. But here we go. This mining suit's a little bit low. Down he goes. And the Vigil are already keen and ready to move on in, it seems.
You'll be back.
Fantastic. Let's res this guy. So there you go. That's the axe offhand. I really want to get this done here because it's taken so long. Finally, we have Dagger. So Dagger offhand. This one's really fun. I actually wish was a little bit stronger and more rangers used these days. You get 2 basic abilities. One of them is called Stalkers Strike. It's an evade. So you evade away here. You're basically invulnerable during that. And you do a little shank in someone's side. It's a cool animation. I like it. Very subtle. Combined with swords, so you get an evade. You get an evade here on the 4 as well. You get 2 dodge rolls. You can start evading like mad, you'll notice. And then the 5 is called Crippling Talon. This is actually just throwing the dagger. A single dagger. Kind of ninja style here. If you look, there's a Ratnik all the way over there. I can throw the dagger at him, and it does reasonable bleed and cripple. So that's what Dagger offhand is. Really simple compared to, like, you know, axe offhand and having the giant bonfire and the torch and whatnot, having the war horn with all the boons.
Let's smash that big metal beast.
This weapon feels much more basic, and for that reason, I think a lot of people kind of don't use it. But yeah, so check it out. We get to just slay Dredge. That was my 100th Dredge kill right there. And this whole mission is all about finding their prototype, which is right here, and beating the crap out of it. That's it. That's the whole adventure. And for this reason, it's a lot quicker to do than the where they fart around with weird technology and stuff. No, let's get in there, kill the Dredge, avenge our friends.
Scratch one, Prototype. That's how the Vigil handles things. That's why we get results. On behalf of my fallen comrades, I thank you. Now, what do you make of this little weapons factory?
It looks as if there are parts here to build another, much bigger weapon. Whatever the Dredge are planning to attack with the final weapon, it must be a huge target.
You've a sharp eye. Prot did mention them stealing a book about architecture. The target may well be a building.
I'd like to inform Prot and Ifwin about what we saw here. If we're to stop Vyacheslav and his plans, we'll need their input.
Agreed. I'll meet you back in Holbrook. And Slayer, don't forget my offer. You and the Vigil are made for each other.
Oh, maybe he's right. I mean, we actually do have to start thinking about this. Who will Ulfric join? Interesting. So, yeah, do you have anything to say here at the end, Thurkill? He says, you are amazing. With soldiers like you joining the Vigil, we'll have the dragons on their knees in no time. So there you go. They actually talk about the dragons a little bit more. I haven't joined yet, though it's very tempting, we say. So that's nice. And I guess the other thing I'd like to mention about Molengrad is this is kind of a sealed, closed-off area with very rarely visited by players in the middle of a map that itself is very rarely visited. So to me, Molengrad, this cave system, this weapons facility of the Dredge, is actually one of the more novel and like curious, rare locations in the entire game. So yeah, it feels good to be doing a video and actually getting to show it off here in the series for you all. So cool, let's go back to the Order Reps and make our next big decision. Hello everyone. Air says, things are starting to spiral out of control, Slayer. I'd hate to think what would happen if you weren't involved. Right, yeah, I mean, they've got a book about architecture. What buildings could they be thinking about? I don't know. What building would the Dredge be interested in? And they've got, you know, weird prototype machines to try and destroy them. The Orders need help. I'm happy to oblige. What do you guys all think? Well, I guess we'll see.
The Dredge are definitely building another weapon. One big enough to shatter a mountain. I've seen the proof with my own eyes. Given the architectural tome they stole, I think Vyacheslav's target is a large building. But which one? Where is he going to strike?
True, but a little research might get us that information. My contacts have intercepted a coded Dredge message. I suspect it was being sent to Molengrad. If we break the code, we can figure out what the Dredge are planning.
We haven't got time for the Priory to crack that code. I have a spy inside a Dredge settlement. Let's ask him for the information.
I'll leave the intelligence gathering to you lot. The Vigil is ready to move on whatever you discover. In the meantime, we'll keep hunting Vyacheslav.
We'll share what we learn with the Vigil. But first the Slayer must decide how we're going to learn it. By breaking the code or debriefing the spy.
Alright, so this is actually quite a tricky decision here. Do we just bank on being able to speak to someone and figure it out, or do we go through a whole code breaking routine? Seems like the stakes could be quite high. Leveling a mountain? I mean, the game gets pretty epic with its scale. We're at small scale, small fry early stuff now, but we're talking about mountains being destroyed? Christ almighty. Well, I guess we'll have to make that decision, and indeed, on the next video, guys, that's what I'm going to open with. Also, next episode, this entire chapter we will conclude, and we'll be moving away from the Norn stuff. So meet me for the next big finale of sorts for the Norn story, and what exactly the Dredge are up to. Revelations lie in waiting on the next episode. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Oh, and we will also do the last transform too, that being Snow Leopard. This one's a really cool one with stealth. See you guys for that one next time. Primarily, the Norn of Holbrook revere the 4 spirits of the wild that led them south. But other spirits exist and teach lessons of their own. Some are less powerful, such as Minotaur, Worm, or Eagle, and they are rarely seen or called upon. Some spirits are not sentient, such as Mountain, Fire, or Darkness, and are depicted as challenges to strive against, or legendary obstacles placed in a hero's path, rather than friends or guides like the spirits of the wild. There is also a small group of spirits that are revered with great sorrow. These lost spirits of the wild remained behind to fight Jormag. Owl, Doliak, also known as Ox, Eagle, and Wolverine are lauded for their bravery and their sacrifice. Owl's death is known to the Norn. The last Havrun of Owl confirmed it. But as to the final outcome of Doliak, Eagle, and Wolverine, even the shamans do not know. No Norn has been blessed to serve as Havrun to those spirits in generations. But then, it is not uncommon for weaker spirits, or those who are not close to this world, to be without a Havrun. All that is truly known is that these spirits held the line in the far north and, by their bravery, aided the Norn in escaping Jormag's claws.